Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I'm out for a long run today, but I'm in the middle of the forest right now because I wanted to get away from the people and the noise for a second and talk about goal setting today, how I approach goal setting, and give you guys an update on my personal goals with running in 2026. Setting goals in running can be tricky because on the one hand, it gives you direction and something to work towards, but on the other hand, it can easily build up a lot of pressure if you're not careful. In my previous career as a football player, especially in the early phases, I often expected too much from myself, and that led to a lot of frustration and eventually to losing joy in playing football. Throughout the years, I learned to manage my goals and self-worth in a healthier way, and I thought I'd share my experience with it if it helped someone. Because even more than accomplishing milestones or hitting PRs, I want everyone to enjoy running. Right now I'm in a transition phase where I enjoy running without a structured plan. I'm having loads of fun, but at the same time, I really look forward to starting my next marathon training blocks, which will be the Düsseldorf Marathon in April 2026. If you're new to the channel, my name is Edward. I'm a sports scientist and a marathon runner. This is how I'm approaching my running goals in the next chapter. So when it comes to my main running goal in 2026, the Düsseldorf Marathon is the big one. Realistically, based on my current fitness level and training background, I think a finishing time somewhere between 3:05 and 3:10 is ambitious but achievable. That's kind of the range I feel confident in right now, but at the same time I keep thinking about a sub-3 finish. I know that's very ambitious and maybe even a bit delusional. That would require everything going to plan or even better than expected, with training, staying healthy, having good conditions on race day, and even then it would be difficult. But I've always liked setting the bar high for myself. I'm a very performance-oriented guy, and I know what I'm capable of when I commit to a process. I built a solid foundation over the years, and I'm ready to handle the required mileage. And I'm motivated in a way that feels calm and focused, but not forced. Not forced is really important, because motivation that's forced usually comes from pressure or fear, while motivation that's calm comes from clarity and trust in the process. I'll come back to this a bit later because it plays a big role in how I define success in this marathon. So yeah, sub-3 is the dream for now, but it's one I'm willing to work for. Not something I expect, not yet anyway, but I'll give it my best effort. Setting a big goal like sub-3 also means being honest about what it actually requires. No matter how good you are, you have to respect the marathon distance and what it demands. It's not something you can just force. Even with the best intentions, there are many variables involved and you can't control everything. For me, the first and biggest one is health. If I don't stay healthy throughout the training block, everything else becomes irrelevant. Missing weeks, running through injuries, or managing niggles would make a sub-3 attempt impossible very fast. The second thing is consistency. Not a few good weeks, but months of showing up consistently, hitting my runs, and stacking up good solid training. Just getting the work done 1 week after another. Then there's recovery and life balance. Training has to fit around work, relationships, and everything else in life. If stress outside of running is too much, it will show up in training whether I like it or not. And then there's race day itself. The conditions matter, the weather, the tapering, and how I feel on the day. You can do everything right in training, but still have a day that's just not good. That's why I see the sub-3 goal as something to aim towards, but not something I demand of myself. It gives direction to the training, but it doesn't define my value as a runner or as a person. This part is especially important to me because it's something I've had to learn the hard way and through many ups and downs. As a football player, I often tied my self-worth very closely to performance. When things went well, I felt really good about myself. But when they didn't, it was really frustrating and I beat myself up over it. Over time and with more experience, I've learned that this mindset isn't sustainable. You can be ambitious, driven, and very performance-oriented, but still not let results define who you are. So for this marathon, even though I'm aiming high, I'm very aware that missing a sub-3 doesn't mean failure. It wouldn't mean that the training was pointless or that I wouldn't be capable. What matters to me even more is how I show up during the process. How consistently I train, how well I listen to my body, and how well I'm able to enjoy the process rather than judging myself. But success for me goes a bit deeper than that. If we look at process-oriented goals, it means that if I can stay healthy throughout the training block, hit my runs consistently, and build mileage in a smart and sustainable way, that's a win. And if I can show up week after week, manage recovery well, and keep enjoying the process, that's progress. I can influence these processes every day, regardless of what happens on race day. And when race day eventually comes, I'll show up prepared, trust the work I put in, and do my best with whatever I have on that day. If that leads to a sub-3 finish, amazing. If it leads to a different result, that doesn't take away from the journey or the growth that happened along the way. In the long run, and in the name of sports science, staying healthy, consistent, and building progressively is what allows performance to improve over time. And maybe that's the real goal, not just for this marathon, but for my running as a whole. So that's how I'm approaching goal setting for this next chapter of my running journey. I'm allowing myself to dream big and set the bar high, but at the same time, staying grounded in the process and not tying my self-worth to a single outcome. If you're setting running goals for yourself right now, I'd be curious to hear how you think about them. How do you balance ambition and enjoyment? How do you balance process and outcomes? And if you want to share that journey with other runners, I invite you to join Elaborate Runners on Skool. It's a free community where runners around the world support each other through training, setbacks, and everything in between. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.